Hi everyone, my name is Nilofer. I'm an architect and academician by profession. I'm pursuing my PhD from School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, India, into the area of solid waste infrastructure in urban residential settlements. Today I'm here to present my work with my guide, Professor Bandna Jha, on the topic on an overview of solid waste management scenario in urban residential settlements in India. So just give me a moment, let me share my screen. Yeah. So I will start my presentation with my paper abstract, which aim to conduct a systematic literature analysis of the current state of solid waste management in Indian urban residential settlements, identifying challenges, gaps, and potential solutions. India's urban waste management system are causing chaos due to population density, insufficient and lack of infrastructure, and segregated waste, improper collection and disposal, which posing environmental and public health risks. It is found that income significantly impacts solid waste content, with low to middle income individual producing organic waste more in quantity, whereas high income individual producing dry waste like paper, metal, and glasses. And interestingly, a correlation has been found which exists between geographical positions and economic status of waste characteristic or composition. The paper concludes the urgent need for adequate infrastructure, effective treatment, and recycling strategies for solid waste, emphasizing composting as the most environmentally friendly method. Therefore, public perception, willingness to pay, clear laws, social community activities, and regular public campaigns are pillar of effective solid waste management. So why there's a need of this study? So as for many authors and research, it is found that 77% of the waste generated in India is dumped in open dump sites, 18% goes composting, 5% for recycling. Therefore, there is a lack of collection, segregation, recycling, and disposal. Improper waste management and handling from transfer stations to landfill. To reduce expenditure on hauling small quantities of waste into regional facility transfer station may be established. Whereas in 2016 laws, the bulk waste generator, the generators who generate more than 100 kg per day, it is mandated that waste generated by these generators be treated and processed within the premises, with residual waste being distributed to local agencies. Also, it is found that as after collection, the wet waste composition is sent further to composting plants or disposal that are at a distance from the urban local bodies or the site of waste generation, which increases the transportation costs, embodied energy, carbon footprint, and manpower, as well as in handling and transferring of waste from one place to another. Inappropriate waste management raises greenhouse gas emission, and uncollected waste has a harmful effect on health and environment, which results in declining quality of life. Whereas SDG Goal 11, it indicates that by 2030, reduce the adverse per capita environmental impact of cities, including by paying special attention to air quality and municipal and other waste management. So I have used a PRISMA method for my systematic review. So I chosen the keyword municipal solid waste management, treatment and disposal, infrastructure, environment, and health. And also, doing the research was found that there was a major shift from 2015, 2018 till 2021. There was a boom into the area of waste management globally and also into the Indian scenario. Now, coming to my aim to study the solid waste management scenario in urban residential settlements in India. And the objectives are to study the present solid waste management practices in India. Second, to identify issues and potential areas related to solid waste management based on zero waste concept in the existing built environments of authorized planned residential settlements. Now, starting from the global scenario, so the world generates 2.01 billion tons of solid municipal solid waste annually, with at least 33% of that not managed in an environmentally safe manner. So waste generated per person per day average 0.74 kilograms, but ranges widely from 0.11 to 4.54 kilograms. So it is found that region with high income countries, North America, Europe, and Central Asia, generates about 34% or 63 million tons of the world's waste. Daily per capita waste generation in high income countries is projected to increase by 19% by 2050 compared to low and middle income countries. Whereas as countries rise in income level, the quantity of waste cyclable in the waste streams increases, especially paper increasing more significantly. Food and green waste comprise more than 50% of waste in low and middle income countries. So if I talk about the global waste disposal scenario, 37% of waste is disposed of in the landfill, 33 goes for open dump, 19% in goes material recovery through recycling and composting, and 11% is treated through modern incineration. So the best examples, if you talk about in terms of waste management, so the practices are circular economy. Of course, Copenhagen's goes at the top because they have a vision for 2024 to recycle 70% of their waste in terms of resource and waste management plan 2024. And then the zero waste, which mandatory recycling and composting in San Francisco, US, and Australia, and many more. So there is also found a 3R model towards reduce, reuse, and recycle, mostly towards Japan and South Korea. So if I talk about now to the Indian scenario, so we have policies started which majorly come in effective mode as 2016 solid waste management rules, plastic waste management rules. Then we have a manual from MHUA, and then the Swachh Bharat mission comes in 2014, which is October, and with a drive called Clean India by ensuring cleanliness and sanitation, taking care of both solid and liquid waste, And after that, there was upgradation in this scheme of Swachh Bharat in 2019, which was known as Urban 2.0. And now coming to the scenario of India, it says that January 2020, there was 147,313 metric tons of waste generated per day from 84,475 wards. And it was found that per person or the per capita is 450 gram per day, and it's increased by 1.3% annually. Maharashtra generated the most with 22,080 metric ton per day, which is from 7,322 wards, while second generates the least with 89 metric ton per day from 53 wards. And among the union territories, it was from Delhi generating the highest amount of waste, which is 10,500 metric ton per day, whereas the Daman and Diu is at lowest. So now, coming to the dump sites, like so, India still has 3,159 operation dump sites, and Uttar Pradesh leads with 609 dump sites. Now, coming to the technology practices. So basically, the technologies for reclaiming dump site. The first one is biocap, the dump site, and the second is biomining and bioremediation. So capping is not the first option in order to prioritize for environmental safe legacy waste management. Capping should only be considered for a maximum of 10% residual rejects after biomining of stabilized waste. In comparison to capping, biomining is a less expensive method for getting rid of garbage hills. So if I talk about Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0, so it's emphasized on source segregation and processing waste, which is biodegradable and non-degradable. Then only inert waste and processed projects unsuitable for biodegradable or non-biodegradable waste management. Not more than 20% of the total waste may be sent to landfill. Now, if I talk about Swachh Bharat Mission, it has a focus on circular economy, a strategy towards material recovery and reuse, a way towards eco-friendly, because it will require the complete reutilization of material and eliminate waste. So this is how the hierarchy goes from prevention to disposal. And I mean, of course, an economic system that replaces the end-of-life concept with reducing, alternative, reusing, recycling, recovering material in production, distribution, and consumption processes. So, as I said earlier, Copenhagen is the one which is a great example, especially when you talk about circular economy. Now, so there was an assessment done in 2018 to 2020. So by this report, it was found out that there were different parameters like source segregation, where the cities like Indore, Panaji, and Leeds. But in terms of biodegradable waste management, there's Masuru, Bangalore, and Boboli Leeds, where in the different umbrellas of material processing, Bhopal, Surat, Jamshedpur, then plastic waste management, Bangkok, Kumbakonam, and then it's a long list. I mean, it goes on. So as I was saying that the source segregation, you can see over here that how they have different compartments for their source segregation. Then again, the biodegradable waste, where they're talking about the composting. Then the material processing, where how they are upcycling or reusing the material. Then plastic waste management, like how they're segregating different typology of plastics in the area of Goa, Sikkim, and Tamil Nadu. Then the construction, the demolition waste, like Delhi and Gurugram, which is really, really working hard with the construction demolition waste. And it's also leased in Swachh Selection assessment. Now, in terms of sanitary waste, it is Pune, Maharashtra. Then, if you talk about innovative models, there is Odisha model, there is Maharashtra and Kerala, which is majorly focused on decentralized and community-driven model with micro-composting centers and material recovery facilities. So, whereas it was found out that Leh and Panaji, the popular tourist destination, produces significantly more waste than the national average of 0.3 to 0.5 kg per person. So after coming with all the literature, there was a finding and observation in terms of environmental, which was find out that compared to recycling and incineration option, the integrated solid waste management approach significantly reduces the carbon emission or greenhouse gas emission. Composting is more environmentally friendly method, reducing greenhouse gas emissions in terms of economy, creating avenues for the circular economy through recovering and recycling material. In terms of organizational improvement, in terms of required resources and infrastructure, ULB often lack proper infrastructure and confront strategic and environmental and institution problem, including limited capacity, financial constraint, and political will. Then the governance of the policy. So there should be clear laws, social community activities, regular public campaigns, and fee methodology, which are, again, a strong pillar for effective solid waste management. So as a geo administrative, there should be a solid waste composition, like as we all know, by income with low to middle and high income. So it is interestingly found, as I said, mentioned that there's a correlation between geographical position and economic status with waste characteristic of the composition. And also it's taken as a consideration to implement the life cycle assessment model to select appropriate waste management algorithm to evaluate and find a suitable solution. So the social culture, again, the public perception, and an effective plan towards collection, segregation, processing of solid waste, and the management, which talk about from collection to the disposal, of course, the your collection plans, your route maps, your vehicles which are you're using, and of course the processing, the technology. It is found that composting is an economical, sustainable, and environmentally friendly method of processing organic waste. So again, coming to the a need of infrastructure. So there was a research done by one of the NGO. It says that we cannot continue to add more waste to these landfills. The master plan should allocate localized waste management center for people to treat waste within their locality. So yes, there is a need. Now, if I try to yeah, so to sum up my gap identified in terms of global policies and regulations and manual, it was found that in terms of waste infrastructure at urban local level, there is no guidelines or law which talk about site requirement, selection, capacity in terms of ergonomics, in terms of like high clearance flooring, roofing for waste infrastructure towards parking or the vehicular roadways. So there is no guidelines on site roadways, going and parking. In terms of waste treatment spaces like infrastructure, recycling, and composting, there is no guidelines or law which talk about excess utilities like electricity to operate equipment, sliding, water for facility cleaning, restroom, and drinking. So therefore, there's no effective guideline for waste infrastructure the urban local level these days, or so far in India. So just to come to the conclude the remarks or the discussion and conclusion. So previously it was found that most of the studies were focused or themed were based on solid waste management, treatment technologies, LCA tools, addressing health environmental effects, stakeholder roles, GIS for environmental impact assessment. But due to lack of improper waste management and infrastructure at the ULB level, it was found that urban local bodies face challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, limited capacity, financial constraint, and political will. Improper solid waste management can pose environmental and health risk. Improvement in terms of educate or required resources and infrastructure. Also, ULB struggle to handle the massive amount of solid waste generated by rapidly rising population. Therefore, there is a need to establish waste processing and material recovery, handling, transferring, and disposal facilities at a ULB level. And also, as Solid Waste Management 2016 rules mandate that waste generated by waste generators be treated and processed within the premises, with residual waste being distributed to local agencies. And also, as it said that gated communities within over 5,000 square meter of area must partner with local bodies for segregated waste, collection, recycling, and processing of biodegradable waste within their boundaries of premises. So therefore, the research or the further the progress or the way forward can be taken up to research more on retrofitting of solid waste infrastructure in urban residential settlements and how it works in conjunction with existing solid waste management practice. So this research is conducted to address this gap. So basically, there are two things now. Yes, there is a need of infrastructure at ULB level, and also to think about it, how these existing infrastructure, how these gated communities, where the government 20 of India, with the help of laws 2016, have been mandated that within their premises, either they are bulky generators or either they are gated communities over 5,000 square meter of area, they have to dispose of the wet waste within the premises. So yes, there is a need to understand what kind of infrastructure can be come up with proper guidelines, manuals, and of course, taking care of environment and surroundings. So yes, these are the references I have taken up, and yeah, thank you. Thanks.